I'm excited to have him here with us this morning. Please put your hands together for CEO, the Experience Maker LLC, Mr. Dan Gingiss joins us. A loud round of applause as you join us from your home space. Welcome, Dan.
Hey, everyone.
Energy. Good morning.
Good morning, Keisha. So glad to be here. I am here by the marvels of technology live from Chicago, which you may or may not know is one of the very farthest places from India that you possibly could get. In fact, the second longest flight from Chicago is to Delhi, right behind, I guess somebody flies to Hong Kong, and I think they must go the wrong way. So it's a little bit longer, but I've made that flight. It's a long one, but happy to be here.
Oh, lovely, lovely. So, and I'm hoping you can send us a little bit of the windiness from Chicago, because I think Mumbai needs it right now. It's quite sultry. So,
Well,
thank you for joining us this morning, Dan. I'm going to hand over the session to you.
all right. Well, thank you so much for having me, Keisha, and for the introduction. I'm going to share my screen. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to tell you that we are just digging out from about 2 feet of snow. So we definitely have different weather than you guys have there. And it wasn't that fun. So you're not missing anything. But thanks again for coming and attending this keynote. Super excited to be part of the Customer Fest show. My name is Dan Gingiss. As Keisha said, I'm a customer experience speaker and coach, and I'm going to talk to you today about how a remarkable customer experience can be your best sales and marketing strategy. I'm going to show you how to get people talking about your brand. And it's important to note that those 20 years in corporate America that Keisha referenced, I was a marketer for almost all of them. So I know what it's like to run marketing channels. And I'm telling you, I've seen the light. Customer experience is going to be a better marketing tool. So are you guys ready? Here we go. All right, this may or may not look like your marketing strategy. Does it? Try a lot of things, do some testing. That doesn't work. Try something else. Try this channel. Oh, there's a new channel that just launched. We'll try that too. The problem is that this is what your prospects see. They see a dartboard filled with holes, and it doesn't all add up to them. So let's stop bombarding our prospects with more content. And instead, we're going to do something else. We're going to focus on our existing customers. Now, why is this important? Let's start with the number of blog posts that are published every day on the internet. 6 million blog posts every single day. Can you guess how many tweets are sent every single day? 500 million, 500 million tweets. And here's my favorite one. How about the number of emails sent every day? I need a bigger screen for this one because it is almost 259 billion emails sent each and every day on the internet. This, ladies and gentlemen, is your competition. This is what you're competing against for marketing and for eyeballs and ears. It's really hard, right? And so there's a better way. We just focus on the existing customers that we have instead. Because while we're spending all this money on sales and marketing, we're forgetting to spend money on the people that are actually keeping our business afloat, that are actually paying our paychecks. And those are our existing customers. You see, most companies have what I like to call a leaky bucket. What does this mean? Well, while we're all focused on bringing in new customers in sales and marketing, we got customers that are going out the back door and we're not even noticing them. That's the leaky bucket, is we're losing customers each and every day because we're not paying attention to them. Now, the good customers will at least give us a complaint and tell us what we did wrong because we might be able to fix that. But you know what most people do? Most people just leave and they go to your competition and you have no idea why they left. And that is the most dangerous thing that can happen to your business. So my friend Ryan Foland drew this cartoon for me, and obviously that's me. You can tell it's a handsome bald guy there holding the bucket that is leaking. But you see what handsome bald guy also has? He has a net to catch those customers so we can keep them before they go off to the competition. Now, let's talk about what do people share, either on social media or just to friends and family or at a conference like this when we're networking. Well, we often think about the negative customer experiences that people share because let's face it, we see a lot of those on Twitter, on Facebook, all over social media. Now, we do see some positive customer experiences, but let's be honest, not that many, and certainly not as many as the negatives. Do you know what we don't last night? Said nobody ever. We don't share so-so experiences or average experiences. What I'm going to teach you today is how to take some of these meh experiences and turn them into positive experiences so that we can get people to share them. Because what's fascinating is, although 30% of customers say that they would post a negative review or share something negative on social media after a bad customer experience, almost half of customers say the same thing about a positive experience. So that's remarkable. People are more willing to share positive experiences than negative ones. The problem is we just don't have enough positive ones to share. And as it turns out, Harish, if you could please mute yourself, thank you. As it turns out, half of customers say that the brands they engage with don't meet their expectations. And 2/3 of customers can't even remember the last time a brand exceeded their expectations. Now, if we were live and in person, and man, I hope we're live and in person next year, I would ask the audience to raise their hand if they remember the last time that a brand wowed them so much that they couldn't wait to tell their friends and family about the remarkable experience. And I know what would have happened because it's happened to every audience that I've done this test with. I would have gotten about 4 hands. Then I would ask the audience, now raise your hand if you remember the last time you were disappointed by a brand. And almost every hand in the audience goes up. That's what we remember. But you just saw that people are more willing to share positive experiences than negative ones. So the answer is we got to figure out how to turn average and so-so experiences into great ones so that people share them with their friends and family and on social media. Now, why is this important? Well, customer experience, if you don't believe it yet, you're going to believe it after this slide. This is a Watermark Consulting took a look at the Forrester Customer Experience Index, which is a very well-known report every year that rates all companies in all different industries on their customer experience. Now, consulting company looked at only the public companies and looked at 11 years of stock returns. They found that the CX leaders far outperformed the general market, and the laggards were well behind the general market. But the thing that is so amazing to me is that the leaders returned 3 times what the laggards did. Now, you may be saying, okay, but this is the S&P 500, the US stock market, or even you may be saying, I'm not a public company. Who cares? Well, we all know that the value of a stock at the end of the day is based on profit, revenues minus expenses. And customer experience helps you create more profit. It stops customers from leaving. It keeps customers longer. They spend more and they refer you to other people by telling their friends and sharing their positive experiences. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to my proprietary approach that I call WISE because I want you to be wise after you listen to this presentation. Now, WISE stands for witty, immersive, shareable, and extraordinary. You don't have to have all 4 things in an experience to be successful. You have to have at least one, and the more you can add on, the better. So let's talk about these 4 things and how they affect the experience. The first is witty. Now, I want to make sure that you understand I am not saying that we have to be funny or that we have to tell jokes or otherwise depend on humor. Humor can be very dangerous because something that one person finds funny, another person may not find funny. And so we don't want to get into the humor game. Witty is a little bit different. It's about using clever language, maybe unexpected language, a word or two here or there that you didn't think you were going to get from a company that makes you smile, not laugh out loud or roll on the floor laughing, but makes you smile. This is an example of a sign in downtown Manhattan, New York City, that I think is absolutely fabulous. We are probably the lowest priced in the city. Now, what do we know about this company just from this sign? Well, we know that they have a sense of humor for sure. We also know that they're honest because they don't know if they're the lowest price in the city. That's why they use the word probably.
But I will tell you, the second I saw this sign, I wanted to go into the store. You notice I haven't even told you what store it is yet, because I don't actually think it matters. As it turns out, it's a shoe store in downtown Manhattan. But this is a perfect example of being witty. Marquesa Petway is a speaker friend of mine and also was my coach for a while. She teaches other speakers how to create revenue streams in addition to speaking. So things like online courses and other types of things. Now, Marquesa, when you join her program, there's a login. And when you go to her site, you see this great picture of her and you see a button that says, log in, darling. Now, if you know Marquesa, and maybe you can tell from that great picture of her, she is a great personality. She's always laughing, always has a great smile on her face. And login, darling, is exactly Marquesa. And that's why I love it. She added one word to a button, and all of a sudden, this whole page has personality, and it didn't have it before. Because every other button in the world just says log in, but there's no reason that it has to. So look for places in your business where you can add a word or two to be a little bit more friendly, to be a little bit more personable, and to be a little bit more clever, and people are going to remember you for it. Now, this is a company that is based in Malaysia. It's called iFlix. It's a streaming company for media. And like a lot of companies, they have a disclaimer at the bottom of their corporate emails, except their disclaimer starts with the words covering our butts. Now, I don't know about you, but when I see a disclaimer that starts with covering our butts, I want to read it. And so I did read it, and I'm hoping that I can add my, there we go. I did read it, and I'll kind of underline some of the good parts. But the point is, this is like an old joke, like a marketer and a lawyer walked into a bar and they came out with this disclaimer. It's amazing. Who said that legal disclaimers have to be boring? Who said that? Where is that written? That's not a rule. And this company decided to have some fun. And you know what the best part about it is? When you get people to read your legal language, that's exactly what the lawyers want in the first place, right? Because as customer experience people, we're not trying to trick our customers. If we have to give them legal language, we want them to understand what they're getting themselves into. But why not have some fun with it? You can do this on your contracts. You can do this in your invoices or your receipts. You can do it all over your website and your mobile app. Have some fun, show some personality, and people are going to love doing business with you. All right, last example. This is a company in the UK. It's a clothing company, and they accidentally made a mistake in some of their bags that hold some of the clothes. And you can see they spelled online wrong. Now, most companies, I would argue, would never even know that they made a mistake. And the ones that figured it out would have thrown away the bags. Not ASOS. They turned it into a marketing campaign by being a little self-deprecating, by making fun of themselves, and by being witty in social media. And look at the bottom of this tweet. Over 8,500 retweets and almost 50,000 likes, all because they made a mistake on some bags and decided to have some fun with it. All right, that's witty. Okay, I want you to change your language. I want you to think about using more clever language that is going to stand out. Now, immersive is different. Immersive is about getting the experience, getting the customers to feel your experience in their bones. It's also about creating a really consistent experience from start to finish. Now, we all know that as our companies get bigger, we have a problem that starts with S, and it's called silos. As our companies get bigger, we start to silo our different departments. We have different people in charge of different parts of the experience. And guess what that looks like to a customer? It looks siloed. It looks confusing. It's bumpy. It's not smooth. When we're immersive, it is a clean experience all the way through that we really, really feel. This is an example of a bookstore, Wugan Books in Taiwan. The interesting thing about this bookstore is there are no lights other than tiny little lights over each individual book, making it look like the books are floating instead of being on shelves. It actually looks like something, to me, it looks like something out of the Harry Potter movies. And sure enough, when people walk in, they got to get used to it because it's very dark. But man, is it immersive. And what they find is that people spend more time looking at the books than they would in a typical bookstore. And in fact, this bookstore has only about 1/10 of the number of books of a typical bookstore. And yet it is an incredibly successful store because it's providing an immersive experience to people looking for that perfect next book. This is a dental company in the United States in Pennsylvania, and they are a client of mine. And what's fascinating about this company, so they sell equipment and supplies to dentists. Pretty much anything you see in a dental office, this company sells and distributes. So one of the things that they've done is they've created a VIP experience at their headquarters where they invite dentists to come and use 25 real working operatories. Now, the operatory is the place where you go and get your teeth cleaned, or it's the chair and the equipment and all that. It's that little room, right? There's 25 of these operatories. And as you can see, I just show 3 of them here. They're all different. That's because they have different designs: walls, floors, ceilings, windows, furniture, equipment, supplies. All of it's different. And the whole idea is for a dentist to come and experience all of them so that that dentist can figure out what they want to do with their office. Now, here's the kicker. The dentists that they invite to come to this experience are not yet clients of the company. And you know what happens? After they come and spend a day at Banco Dental headquarters and they go through this immersive experience, more than 3/4 of them, more than 75%, decide to redesign their dental office, and they buy everything through Banco Dental. That's an immersive experience. One last one is a gin company out of London called Sipsmith. Now, Sipsmith made its way to Chicago about 2 years ago, and they were at a summer festival doing some tastings. Now, I will admit, I don't know how liquor tastings work in India, or even if they do them, but in the United States, sometimes you'll walk into a grocery store or a liquor store, and they want you to taste a new product. So they'll hand you a tiny little plastic cup, and they'll fill a little bit of the liquid in there, and you're just supposed to taste it. The problem is that's not how most people drink. And it's not a great way to really experience a product. So Sipsmith hired a bartender, had a little stand-up bar or pop-up bar, excuse me. And the first thing the bartender asks you is, what kind of tonic would you like with your gin and tonic? Now, I was a bartender earlier on in my life, and I did not know there were different kinds of tonic. So I learned all about citrus tonic and Mediterranean tonic and Indian tonic and all the flavor profiles, and I chose my tonic. I was then sent over to the garnish bar. Now, a traditional gin and tonic just has a lime. It's one of the most basic drinks there is. But in the garnish bar, there were 16 different choices that you could add to your drink: lemons, limes, oranges, dried strawberries, rose petals, black peppercorn, all sorts of things I had never thought of putting in a drink. Now, I did the math for you. The number of combinations that could be created by the choice of tonics and all of the garnishes, over 1 billion different gin and tonic drinks could be created with those ingredients. Now, when you create your drink, the last station is you get to go and get a little name tag for your drink, along with a clip that you put on the side of your drink. Can you guess what happens next? Yes, everyone takes out their phone and takes a picture of their drink and posts it on their favorite social media site. This is an immersive experience, especially compared to how I described what is a typical liquor tasting in the United States, which is not immersive at all. But this really gets you involved with the product. Okay, we've learned how to be witty and immersive. Now we're going to be shareable. Now, this one seems like it's the most obvious because that's, of course, what we're looking for, but we have to be intentional. One of the best companies that does this is PunkPost. Go to punkpost.com and you can choose a greeting card and actually write in exactly what you want it to say. PunkPost will hire artists who will write out and design these beautiful handmade cards for your client, for whoever that you're sending a thank you note to or a birthday note to. And what they find is that when people receive these cards, they hang them up in their office. They put them on their bulletin board and over think of the people that sent it to them. When's the last time that someone did that with a thank you email that you sent? Probably not. This is a great way to be shareable. When I was at Discover Card, which is a credit card company in the US, we did something really simple to be shareable. We sent every new customer a $5 gift card to Starbucks. And this is the entire package. It said, enjoy a treat on us. There was no sales pitch. There was nothing to buy, nothing to do, just thanks for being a customer. The one thing we added was a little hashtag at the bottom, Discover Joy. Now, the first thing that happened was people shared and shared and shared and shared and shared their gift cards all over the place using our hashtag. But then something amazing happened that I didn't expect. They went to Starbucks, they bought their drink, and they shared their drink and still thanked Discover for the $5 gift card. Now, folks, this wasn't a $500 gift card. It was $5. It wasn't very much money, but it made such a difference to people and therefore created a shareable experience. All right. The last part of WISE is extraordinary. Now, sometimes people get nervous here. They say, uh-oh, this is where it's going to get expensive. Don't worry. Extraordinary simply means a little bit better than ordinary. Remember, I talked about meh and average experiences before, and we need to do better than that. So this is about making ordinary extraordinary. Any idea what this is? This is actually in a hotel room at the bottom of the nightstand. It is a motion activated light that turns on when you get up in the middle of the night, don't remember where you are, it's really dark, and you have to go to the bathroom. And this lights the way. Now, since I'm a customer experience guy, of course, I had to get down on hands and knees in the middle of the night to take this picture. And I figured out that that light is probably a 50-cent item, less than $1. It's a tiny little item that makes all the difference. Ordinary into extraordinary. Chewy.com is a pet supplies company that knows how to treat its customers. I'm going to tell you a quick story about Mariangel. She has a cat, a long-haired cat. She bought some litter from Chewy and she didn't like the litter. Now, it wasn't Chewy's litter. Think of Chewy as an Amazon or an Alibaba in this case. They're just the retailer. But she left a negative review about the litter just to warn other cat owners. She got the next day an email from Chewy. Now, don't bother trying to read it. I'm just going to tell you what it says. It basically says, we're really sorry that you had a bad experience with this litter. We've gone ahead and refunded your money. Now, Mariangel did not ask for her money to be refunded. By the way, we've also recommended 4 other litters for you that might be better for your cat. Give our love to Roma. That's right, their CRM has the name of Mariangel's cat in it. And they say that they have a furry wall of fame in their office. And if she'd send a picture of Roma, they'd love to put her up on there. Many whiskers, Stephanie H. Now, I love this customer service email because I think it is probably the best customer service email I've ever seen. And it is incredibly shareable. In fact, Mariangel shared it with me so that I could put it on my podcast. And it is also going to be in my next book. This is how we create shareable experiences. And by the way, this is probably a templated email where the agent just has to fill in some details. All right, this is what you think it is. I know this is a family conference, so don't worry, I'm not going there. I just want to tell you one thing. That soccer ball is hanging by a string and it moves. All right, I'm gonna let you figure out the rest, but here's what you need to know. If someone can make an experience out of a urinal, you can make an experience in your business. I guarantee it, no matter what business you're in. If someone can do it here, you can do it in your business. And that is taking ordinary and making it extraordinary. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job if I left you just being wise, because I'm going to help you be wiser than your competition. And that's about being responsive. After all, when people start sharing all of your great experiences, you got to get in there and talk back with them. So that's being responsive. In fact, 82% of customers have left a company because of a bad customer service experience. So it is critical that we are responsive when our customers need us. Now, this is a scene from an NBC show called This Is Us. It's the main character, Jack, and this is a really important scene in the history of the series. It has to do with that crockpot device that is sitting on the counter. I can't tell you anymore, no spoilers here at this presentation. However, Crockpot did not have a Twitter handle. The next day, they woke up to thousands of tweets like this one. Thanks for crushing my soul week after week. Additionally, I'll no longer be making crockpot chili after last night's episode. Now, the company got onto Twitter super fast and said, we're heartbroken over last night's episode too, Kayla. We're innocent until proven guilty. Since the 70s, we've been providing families with quality and safe products. Ask your parents if you don't believe us. Do you want to know what Kayla did next? I don't know if you could have predicted this. I apologize for what I said when I was in an emotional state. I could never live without my beloved Crockpot. # Crockpot is innocent. Now that's what happens when we're responsive. Duke Energy is responsive before things happen. They hired a storm director to tell people that a storm is coming and that they might lose power. They tell them before they lose power. And you know what happens? People don't call customer service. People don't freak out when they lose power because Duke Energy warned them ahead of time and they trust that their utility company has their back. Finally, last example. This is a great story about an NBA basketball player named Stephen Curry. He received a letter from 9-year-old Riley Morrison, who was unhappy that his shoes did not come in girl sizes. She wrote him a handwritten letter. Now, Stephen Curry wrote her back and said, "You're absolutely right. I'm going to fix this immediately. By the way, I have some new shoes coming out next month. I want you to have the first pair off the assembly line. And because International Women's Day is coming up, I'd like you to help me design my next girl's shoe." Now, this got reported by an ESPN reporter, Darren Ruvel, and you can see the retweets and the likes at the bottom of this post. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is little Riley, who is showing her autographed shoe that she autographed for the NBA All-Star. So again, if an NBA All-Star can be responsive to his customers, of course, all of us can do the same for our customers. So to get people talking positively about your brand on social media, you need to be wise, and then you need to turn it into wiser. That's witty, immersive, shareable, extraordinary. And when people are talking positively about you, responsive. Thank you so much for being here today. I really enjoyed being with you. I wish I could see your faces, and I look forward to doing that in the future. I hope that we can be together in the same room. If you would like more from me, please feel free to scan this, and you will get to my newsletter, which I send out for customer experience, articles, events, stories, shows, etc. Only twice a month because I don't like filling in my email box either. And I do have a new book coming out on September 14th that has all of these stories plus about 50 more in the Wiser framework. I hope you'll check it out. Again, thank you so much. I'm Dan Gingiss, customer experience speaker and coach. Have a great rest of the conference. It's been a pleasure being here with you.